Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Ask Muso podcast, brought to you by Jim's Cleaning, Butterham South. I've got Karrie on the other end of the phone, and today we're going to be talking about her music, what she's up to, and a little bit about everything she's got going on. So say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm really keen to pick your brain on a few things today.
Hello. I am Karrie Hayward, also known as Karlou, and I'm from the Sunshine Coast, so pretty stoked to be talking to you today and kind of answer your questions.
Awesome. So if we were talking about what you play, so singer-songwriter, what else would you say, what would you say your thing is, other than singer-songwriter, like instruments-wise and things like that?
Well, I kind of started playing when I was pretty young. I started with guitar, and then I kind of got into singing from that, and since then I dabble in a lot of instruments. I wouldn't say I play them well, but I can find my way around them. I play a little bit of piano, a little bit of keys, and just all different types of guitar. I also with my other project, the Karrie Hayward one, I'm a live looper. So that kind of forced me into the whole new world of instruments, which, you're laying down your different tracks. You've got your percussion tracks, you've got your bass tracks, your rhythm, and then obviously leads. So I guess through that, I kind of learned a lot of stuff about that, and it kind of introduced me into other instruments, which is great.
Yeah, well, I think it's sort of pretty much important now, unless you're a real gun at something and you've got yourself locked in with a band or whatever, to be able to play multiple instruments is sort of imperative. Even if you only dabble with a few and you know enough to get by, you know enough to lay a couple of tracks underneath whilst you're looping something else or playing over the top. It's something that I've never really done, looping wires like that. And when people talk about programming drums, obviously I have no idea about any of that. That goes way over my head. But to have to dabble and things like that, especially on the keys front. So for me, it's the only thing I should have dabbled with, but I never did. And I don't have the fingers. I don't.
You don't have those lanky piano fingers?
I have the lanky fingers. Everyone goes, oh, you'd be able to play really well. It's like when they say to someone who's not athletic, who's tall, oh, you must be good at basketball. Just because I'm tall doesn't mean I have any idea how to do the sport. So what age did it sort of start for you? Where was music for you growing up and things like that? How did it sort of start?
So I think I was pretty much always interested in it, from a really young age. Obviously the Wiggles were right from the get-go. Yeah, they were my idols. So I think by the time I was 3, I was pretty much a late talker. I was actually a little bit deaf when I was a kid, and so I didn't learn to talk until later on in life. And pretty much as soon as I could talk, I wanted a guitar. So I got a little toy guitar when I was around 3 years old. And anyway, I just bounced around the house on that. And when I was 9, I saw Shannon Noll for the first time. And Shannon Noll was next level for me. He was the reason why I bought that guitar. So I actually got to meet him when I was 9 years old. And I got lessons on guitar. And then I learnt that really quickly and started learning music theory from there. And then that's when I decided to pick up piano a little bit. And obviously songwriting was introduced in that whole time period. And so now I kind of took a break from piano. I was it's too hard. I can't do it. I just can't get my hands to work together. And so I left it out for a while, and then it's only been the last 2 years that I've been I really like this instrument. I want to start to get okay at it. So I've been back at it now.
Sort of try and start getting back into it so you can create more and do all the things you're doing. And the little things, the little snippets and stuff you post and all like that. It actually is, for someone who uses all 4 limbs independently, I still find it more difficult, the whole left and right thing. I don't know, it really plays with me. So it's quite a skill if you've got it.
Oh, yeah, it's a hard one.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you've only got a little bit of it, it's still something you can sort of branch from. And if you can lay down some good foundations and things like that, then that is always going to increase your songwriting. So why Shannon Noll? What was it, an Australian Idol thing, or was it just...
Yeah, I think so. I think it was because, obviously seeing Australian Idol, everyone was going for Guy Sebastian. I was I just want to go someone different. Nosy goes all right. And then he started releasing music, and I was this is, amazing. Obviously very young. And I just, looked up to him and, I just idolized him from a very young age. Went to, all the shows that he did nearby, bought all of his CDs. literally was a poster girl for Shannon Noll. I had his poster on the back of my door for years, probably up until high school. Who knows?
So this was primary school. You was the Shannon Noll loving primary school girl.
Yeah, that was me. I'm not sure that I should admit that, but yes.
Well, that's interesting when you think about people's like inspirations to get into music. Like, I don't have anyone immediately that I can think of that's like a really notable player. Like lots of people were interested in music, and I was brought up around a very musical household, but no one. It's not like, oh, I got my someone playing from my dad, or I got my something playing from mum. I was the only one who really played and that consistently played. So it was weird from that, but sort of outward, I never really had lots of figures. And if I did have figures, I was embarrassed to tell everyone because I was sort of raised on 80s music. So I'd say, oh, Scott Kahn, and everyone would be like, who's that? I'm in grade 6. I don't know who that is. So it was weird. It was hard to sort of tell people what I was influenced with because it was all 80s music predominantly. So until people started finding out that Midnight Oil and INXS were cool, I was like, oh, I knew they were cool.
Yeah, you're like, I'm all over this.
All over this. Just there's no room left on the bandwagon, guys. So that was sort of my sort of entry to it. But so with your own songwriting, you've got the 2 projects and like the band and the solo stuff. So tell us a bit about each of those.
Yeah. So originally I started off as kind of like just a little folk singer. I was writing all these like cute little poems kind of thing to like an acoustic guitar, and that was all fun and good, but I kind of just wanted to get a little bit more like fun with it. Like I loved playing that and doing all that sort of stuff, but I wanted to create a bigger sound that I could work with, a sound that I could incorporate in a live show and introduce some new band members in. So like I ended up getting a drummer, and it was really great because it was the first time that I could experiment with backing tracks and some stems and all these live recordings and throw them in and like have them set off at different times, so it felt like a full band. And that was great because it meant that I didn't have to rely on playing a guitar for every single song, which is something completely different for me. Like, I'm a very energetic person and I love to like bounce around, jump around, like do it all. And so that was a great opportunity that I could stop and I could be like, hey, I don't want to play guitar. Like, I want to try and play some keys or play some bass or whatever, and literally just jump around and have a bit more of a high energy show and just express myself in a different form. So that's where I decided that I would jump into a whole new world of music and I would go a little bit further down the indie pop path. And that's kind of where it led me into this Karlou project.
Yeah, with like the live production technique. So that's a big thing that people are doing now, and I was like really keen on that because I remember when I first, because pretty much for those who don't know, when we first connected, it was because I had made a post in Sunshine Coast Musos because I was like, oh, so pretty much from my end, it was that I had a job lined up that they never got back to me on, and suddenly I've been on Sunshine Coast for 3 weeks with a job that was meant to be lined up that I now don't have, and I was bored shitless, to be honest. And I was like, surely someone wants to play music somewhere. Like, I don't know anything or anyone. And, I had comments and things like that, and I had people hit me up. But really, the only notable ones that I still talk to, whatever, would be you, Lockie, and Will. And I'm still connected with all 3 of you. And, like, 2 of them are still bands I'm in today. So that was a really cool community, and I was a big fan of all that. But, yeah, I know it was awesome to see people doing stuff. Like, I think that was the biggest deal for me, was that I saw people actually doing stuff here. From Victoria, I was in a sort of position where everyone was like, oh, let's be buds. And then you go to a gig, and then on the backhand side, everyone wants to be the best. There's no raising you up. Whereas here, like, all the sorts of things I see with all the different sort of network around here, like the thing you shared about Calandra Music Festival today, the way they're trying to push people up and share their playlist for Dora and all that.
Oh, it's so nice. They're so kind.
That's the bee's knees. I froth that. That's just not something I'm used to.
Yeah, it's such like an active community, and like people here like a family. Like I feel like all the Sunshine Coast musicians have met each other and they've made these connections, and then there's like people out there who like come over for a jam or come over for a pizza night. I'm like, that's sick. Like, you don't get that in a lot of places. So like, I think being in a smaller community, it's like tight and like people know each other and it's just cool. So I love that.
Yeah, and it really does transcend the music occasion. Like often it transcends the music. Like you invite people round for a thing, like whether it's like a launch party or something like that, even if we're not at a venue or whatever. And then everyone gets round and then the piss goes down and the guitars come out, and then you go, oh, I just realized we all know how to play instruments extremely well, and everyone's a few beers in, but everyone's having a good time. And that's what I signed up for when I moved, but I was like, oh, I'll get all my other ducks in a row first, and if music happens too, well, that's just a bonus. And it turns out this has sort of been the cornerstone of how I sort of built my social sphere, was because I made that post and people actually bit and actually said, hey, let's talk. And I've loved that, and I think that's sort of what pushed me to want to start this, is because I was like, there's lots of people I know a little bit about, and I see what they're up to, and I see their posts, and I see your releases and things, but I'd like to know more about that, especially right now when everyone is, potentially not motivated.
Yeah, so true.
So I just want to get together with people and have a chat and see what they're up to and get to know them a bit more on a music level and on a personal level, of course.
Yeah, it's so good that you're doing that and supporting like live local music, man. Like we need more of it, and it's like artists supporting artists. It's one of the most beautiful things about the industry, I think. And like even if it's just from the smallest of promotions to hanging out with them, like just checking in, that's what we need. So like good on you for like organizing all this. It's great.
Oh, cheers. Well, I'm excited that people have been excited too. I haven't once had anyone from here or abroad that has gone, oh yeah, okay. Everyone's like, oh my God, you want me on it? Oh, that's pretty cool. Thanks. So it's been really humbling to have people that are genuinely interested. But things that I'm genuinely interested of yours, your releases, they have been still pretty steady since everything's happened, and you just released one recently. So tell us about your songs and your releases of late.
Yeah, sweet. Well, I've in the new project, I've released 2 songs so far. I did one earlier last year called Bad Choices, which was the first one off the back of the project. And we shot a music video around it, which was super fun, and it kind of really set the mood for what this new project's going to be in terms of the music production and just the whole vibe. So I feel like the second track really led on from that vibe, and it kind of just opened it up a bit more. Didn't give you all of it yet because there's still more to come. So it's followed down that path of this really boisterous energy, involving a fun, youthful kind of element to it. So I feel like the lyrics are obviously a very youthful and kind of this next song that I just released. Well, this song that I did just release called Grew Up. It's just pretty much just about me. So just about just growing as a person, and whether that be from other people's opinions and validations of you, not needing those validations, and kind of just going forward with who you are and kind of accepting that, which I think is really important. So I'm hoping to get a music video done, but obviously due to Corona, that has not happened yet, just because we need to be safe and stay indoors. So when that comes, it comes, and it'll be heaps of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So during the naughty boys and girls stay inside time, is there any music then that we can expect from either of the projects, from Karlou or something like that?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, towards the end of last year and the start of this year, I thought it would be really cool to step outside of my own little box and go into some studios and collaborate with some other artists, so some DJs.
Awesome.
Which I was really excited about, because obviously going down the pop path, I'd really like to get another ear on things and another view. So I did record a few songs with a few different DJs along the way, and also wrote some new songs, which I'm super excited to share, because once again, I feel like they're another extension on the project that I've been working on itself, but just in a bit more depth. So it should be really exciting to get that out. I don't know when it's going to come out, because there's a certain way that I'd like to release the music, which I haven't figured out yet. And you just don't know. You don't know where it's going, hey? You don't know what's happening with the world, so it's hard. It's so hard to kind of plan for it, because it's just well, am I going to have a show off the back of this, or how am I going to release it? So I mean, who knows at this stage. I'm very, very lost in what I am going to do in that way, but I have got music coming. We just don't know when.
Well, that makes sense. Like I understand that to an extent, but from my point of view, all my stuff that I've put out on a songwriting perspective, a lot of it was storytelling to music, and then all my collaborations I've done with my best mate Monty when I lived in Victoria, and since I've moved, all that stuff was pretty much used as the baileydrummer brand just to explain storytelling and musical collaborations. But I've never been in a position to perform it because we both play all the instruments. Oh, and for my own stuff, I play all the instruments. It's just never even been on my radar to play it because it's just never been possible. Whereas for you, you want to get the most out of it. You don't want it to. Not that I believe by any margin they'll flop, because if the other two are anything to go by, they're good. They're easier listening, exciting, and very cheerful, as you say, cheerful songs, especially right now. That's what people want to listen to. But yeah, you want to get the most out of it, and you want people to hear it, and you want to play. Like I miss playing. Like that's. Like I'm in a townhouse setup, and I'm in a bit of struggle town when it comes to noise, especially when everyone is working from home now. So my weekday, that's the thing, my weekday thing where I just play when everyone's at work, everyone is now in the living room. So it's not as easy, but I just miss playing. That's the biggest thing, and I'm so excited. And I know that there's going to be, especially on the Sunshine Coast, a massive rush.
It's gonna be so good.
I know. It's just thinking about it, it's so exciting. Everyone's going to get so pumped and really lift each other up and say, oh, I played this show, and do you want to come? Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.
It's going to be hectic, man. Especially like now, because like everyone's just waiting. They're waiting to go out. They're waiting for these shows. They're waiting for the artists, that when it all comes out, it's going to be like, where do we go? Like, they're playing there, they're playing here, like, which band do we go choose? Like, it's gonna be wild.
It's honestly gonna be like a weekend is gonna be like a festival, and you got the main stage, the backstage, and it's just one's gonna be in South Brisbane and one's gonna be at Soul Bar, and it's very hard because they're not 100 meters away, so it's very hard to decipher where you're gonna go.
They better have a public holiday is all that I'm saying.
And Soul Bar can just run music from open to close.
Oh, please. That's my church.
That exactly. And that's such an awesome thing to do. And I would love that. That would sound absolutely awesome. I'm very keen for that. Whatever it ends up being, because I know that here, if not anywhere else, it's going to be very high quality, and it's going to be a lot of energy and everyone doing the best they can, which is just so cool. So there's obviously a lot of unknowns and ifs, buts and maybes at the moment, especially with what you said you're releasing and stuff. But what do you have sort of coming up and things like that? Or do you like collaborations and bands wise, is there anything you can talk about that you're doing at the moment that is actually going to come out and maybe has a date, or what you're planning to do to sort of fill the time for yourself?
Well, at this stage, like, obviously, like, with the last release, I did have a big show planned up. Like, I had tickets pretty much that went on sale, and it was a week out from a week out from doing it that I had to pull the pin on it, which, like, that was just so heartbreaking. And at that time, like, I was just a mess. But then I looked up and I was like, dude, like, the whole world is in the same boat as you right now. Like, don't be upset about this. It's just life. So I feel like when this all comes back out of it, I'm going to have another show, and we're going to do this for a second time, and hopefully it works. And hopefully more music will be coming out. I have got another song which is in the bank that, it's ready. It's ready to go. So we've just got to get it mastered and do the artwork, and it should be ready. And I'm excited about this one because obviously, like, this song has come from a really deep place in me. So again, it's another, like, another extension on the project. And so I feel like that's going to be like a really raw, kind of vulnerable song that maybe people will relate to coming out of this time and how we're feeling at the moment. Like, obviously some days we're miserable and it's just awful, and then other days can be completely different, but hopefully it hits a spot with someone in that sense. And yeah, I'm excited to share it.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be awesome, and it'll be just what people need from lots of people when it's coming out. It's just what people need, and it's exciting to be a part of something where you can bring joy to people in a way that is really harmless, and like for stuff like this, like, I get as much out of this as anything I hope to achieve from it. You know, whether it gets 150 views in the first 10 minutes or whether it gets 3 over 3 weeks, I've had fun. Like, I've enjoyed doing this and connecting with people, and that for me is just as much fun as like people enjoying it when they watch it. And when people do enjoy it when they consume it and they go, oh, it's cool that you've been connecting with these people and stuff, like that makes me feel good, because it's like, oh, well, I'm glad that it was 20 minutes of your day that you were able to, you know, just think about something else, think about, you know, the good old days and what we're up to and what we're going to be up to, which is awesome. So thank you for having a chat with me. Before I let you go, what do you want to plug? What do you want to tell everyone about? Where are people going to find you? What are people going to listen to your stuff on?
Yeah, sweet. So I would love if you could go check out my new track. It's called Grew Up. You can find it on all digital platforms. So that's Spotify, Apple Music, and iTunes, all the other ones as well. And you can just find me on social media. So I am Karlou on Instagram and just Karlou on Facebook. And I've put all my stuff on there. So hopefully you can find it and check it out. That'd be great.
Send me a link through and I'll put them through in the description so everyone can find you and harass you, because it's good content and it's good to listen to, especially right now. So
yeah,
it's definitely what people should go and do right now when there's not much else. They have no excuse.
Yeah, exactly. That's totally right.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of this with me. It was awesome. I'm so glad I got you to have a chat, and no doubt we'll be in contact and we'll definitely hang out when we're allowed, and we'll be hitting a Soul Bar stage soon.
Woo! Cannot wait.
Either on top or in the crowd, and I can't wait for all that.
Or on the floor, no?
Well, you know, look, honestly, it could be heaving. There could be on the floor. We could be pushed up against the bar whilst, you know, they raise the capacity to 600 in Soul Bar. You never know. The back room could be hauling. I hope it is.
100% it will be. I can't wait.
The sort of people that go are the sort of people that go, hey, I'll come to your gig, and then they actually show up. And that's just the vibe we need right now. And I think it's just going to go from 0 to 100 when things go back to normal. And I can't wait. And it'll be really exciting to see what you've got going on, and all the other things on the coast.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, and thanks for being on it. And I'll be doing another episode of this on Tuesday. I'm uploading these once a week, and this is a really awesome experience, and I'm feeling very wholesome. So if you are interested, hit my subscribe button and hit the bell if you want to be notified when these new ones come out. And until next week, I'll see you later.